Hi. Hi again. Welcome back to my podcast. Today we actually have a drink with us, and it's a hot drink. So we have a hibiscus tea with lemon. I don't know why I said that like a question. It is hibiscus tea with lemon and sugar, and it's really hot and boiling, and so I can't hold it much longer, but it's a pink mug and it's very cute. I'm planning on getting this Hello Kitty mug that I found in the mall the other day. It's very expensive, so saving up for it, but it's super cute. So maybe next video, fingers crossed. I never follow through with anything I ever say, so let's just put it into the universe, okay? You're gonna see it next video. Anyways, hi. I haven't. Let's act like you know this is my monthly upload, not monthly, actually bi-weekly upload. um yeah, like, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. Yay, now we're here. So I'm gonna start this episode's gonna be all over the place. I have multiple topics, but I'm so excited. It's actually gonna be really fun. But first we're gonna start with a recap. Okay, first of all, if you can't tell, I look a bit different because I dyed my hair. Um, and why did I dye my hair, you might ask? Well, the last 3 weeks were kind of rough. Nothing new here, just the good old usual mental breakdowns every other week, like nothing new. So, I dyed my hair burgundy, and I actually really like the color because it blends easily from my natural hair color, which is black, and then it blends into burgundy, and so I'm really happy about it. I also got braids, which are really cool and cute, and I don't know. New look. Okay, the recap. The last 3 weeks, month, actually the last 2 weeks, because my last upload was 2 weeks ago. Yep, I finished finals and I got my results. Remember, I was freaking out like a couple episodes ago about my results and how like I was scared of getting, I guess, below par grades because, like, I don't know, I'm an overachiever. I care about academic validation a lot, more than I should, honestly. I base my whole worth on my grades. Well, I guess used to, not so much anymore because I'm trying to, you know, get over that. But still have, like, I guess, some sort of, like, standard which I don't want to drop below, right? Like, so I'm giving myself a range instead of being like, oh, you can only get the best grades ever and nothing else is admirable or respectable. Like, I don't know, I go crazy sometimes. Anyways, so my grades came back and they're all B's and A's. And so I'm happy. Like, I mean, also, I realized something in my old university. Like, the grading system was so insane. It was so misleading. An A star is from 80% and above. Like, that's crazy. That's so misleading. So every time I got an A star, I was thinking, "Oh, I did really good." Which, I mean, 80 is really good, but it's not an A star. An 80 is like a B or like maybe a B minus. So it was kind of misleading the way they lettered their grades. And so whenever I would get an A star, I'm like, she's kind of smart. But the whole time it was a B, like, got a bunch of A's and B's, and I'm genuinely happy about it. I did my best, which is something I know, like, I pushed myself and I did the best that I could. And honestly, with the circumstances and adjusting to a new environment, new grading systems, new university, everything, like, I did pretty good, not gonna lie. So that's the first update, the hair thing. Yes, so going back to the hair dyeing thing. um the last 3 weeks were kind of rough. So, like, let's just contextualize it by saying that, like, I might or might not have cried like 10 times, give or take, in the last 3 weeks. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not saying this for you to feel sad or bad for me. Like, I feel like I needed that because, like, I was having like so many mental breakdowns, or, like, I guess feeling sad or upset over a lot of things that were outside of my control. And so whenever you have a problem that's outside of your control, right, there's not really much you can do as a person, and that also feels like really helpless, right? And so I was crying about a lot of things that I couldn't really change or control, or, like, whatever. And it was all about just, like, I just allowed myself to feel sad, you know? Like, whenever I felt really sad and I wanted to cry, I'm like, just cry it out, you know? And so it kind of felt good, you know? Like, sometimes when you cry afterwards, you feel kind of good, you know? Um, so yeah, that was fun. Um, but it definitely helped me emotionally process a lot of things. And yeah, I think it was good for me. So part of it was like me freaking out about my friendships and stuff like that. And so, like, you know, since the war happened, a lot of my friends are in different places around the world, and some of these friendships are like, kind of, I guess, dying out. Not necessarily because of the war, but like other factors, whatever. People grow apart, personalities change, you know, people get busy. Like, it's just a lot of changing factors. And in that, over the last like 2, 3, 4 months, I guess maybe I was in denial about it for a while, but a lot of people who were really close to me um aren't as close to me anymore. Or like, a lot of people who I was really super close to and would talk to on a, I don't know, not daily basis, but like very often, you know, like they were actively in my life, are not so much anymore. A lot of those friendships. And you know, it's nobody's fault. Like, things happen, but it's just, it took me a minute to accept that, you know, and be okay with that. And like, I don't know, it's just made me a little bit sad, you know, like, yeah, friendships and not end, but like, you know, drift apart. Or, you know, like, and just because you talk to someone less doesn't make them less important. Also, it doesn't mean that I don't care about them less. It's just that, like, life happens and people get busy and people have lives, and you know, things will change. Like, definitely things are inevitably going to change. And I just had a rough time accepting that, or being okay with that. Also, another realization that I had is that just because you view someone a certain way doesn't mean they're going to view you the same way. And this is a rough pill to swallow, but it's true, and it's not their fault. Like, you don't choose your perception of someone, you don't choose how you feel about someone, right? And so, and you don't choose when that feeling changes or like shifts or whatever it is, right? And so I'm someone who cares about people really deeply. Like, when I like build a connection with you and I get to know you, and I'm like, okay, I really like this person's personality and thoughts and whatever, I enjoy spending time with them. Like I care, you know, like, to an extreme. Like, I care deeply. And sometimes I'm a lot, you know, sometimes I, you know, spam people a lot, or like text them a lot, or like whatever. Like, I do that. um and sometimes that worked for a period of my life when people were free and like whatever. But now, I guess, people are in different parts of the world, you know, they have their own lives, whatever it is, right? Like, or, you know, maybe like they grew out of the friendship, or I don't know what it is, right? Like, maybe their perception of me changed, you know, um over a couple of months, and that's not something they can control, right? And as much as it hurts, like, of course, if you care about someone so much, like, you want them to care about you the same way, and you want them to show that. Like, even if you know it, like, I know in my head, like, yeah, my friends care about me and they like me. um but it's hard sometimes to remember that when they don't really show it, or when they don't really say it. And I'm a very expressive person. Like, I always tell my friends how much I love them, and I always, like, you know, like, I show it through my actions and through my words too. um and so, yeah, sometimes not everyone is a lot like me, or, you know. And so sometimes, I guess, I expect that energy to be reciprocated, and when it's not, like, I'm like, oh, oh. But I'm also learning that, like, just because they don't give back this much energy, it doesn't mean that they don't care. It's just like, you're a lot, and not everyone is a lot like you, you know? Like, just calm down. And so, yeah, I've just been taking some time away. I took like these 2 weeks off from social media. I deactivated everything, and I'm like, I just need to, like, sit with myself, you know, think about life, think about how I'm feeling, because I was feeling overwhelmed. Like, I was on the verge of a mental breakdown, and I knew it. And I feel like, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed by, analyzing all these friendships, and like, replying to everyone like I'm a celebrity, but like, yeah, just keeping up with my social life, I guess that's the correct term. I was feeling overwhelmed, and so I needed some time off, so I deactivated everything, and I'm like, okay, let me just sit with myself, reconnect with myself, because back in Sudan, I loved spending time by myself because I had my own room and I had my own space, and whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just go to my room, I watch my series, I open the AC, the room is cold, I get some snacks. Like, it's my favorite way to just like reconnect with myself. And so I did that. And at first it was fun. I was watching shows and stuff like that. And obviously, binge watching shows and movies is my coping mechanism. It's an unhealthy one. And that is why a few days later, I started feeling really horrible again. And I'm like, why is my unhealthy coping mechanism not working anymore? That's when you know things are really bad. So I was like, okay, I can't run away from my problems, forever. Like, it worked for a couple of days. I felt better. But then the emotions come back, right? Because they're still there. You just kind of push them to the side. And so I spent another like 3-4 days not watching any shows. I started reading more books, which has been so much fun. I found this book, sorry, this is a side tangent. I found this book called Women Who Run with the Wolves. It's so good. The book is about how women intuition is often overlooked by like themselves and by society and by everyone. Like, it's like something that we disregard often, and maybe we should listen to it more, because that's a strong belief in me right now. Like, I will trust my intuition, especially when it comes to situations that are related to me being in danger or even just feeling weirded out by someone. I listen to that because, like, you know what? Your intuition is literally your body telling you something without, like, what's the word? Subliminal. I think subliminal messaging. When it's like, it's not obvious. It's just your subconscious telling you like danger, 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 and you're like, oh, I'm being crazy. Let me ignore my intuition. No, listen to your intuition. But yeah, the book is really great. I also went to a book club. Oh my god. Okay, so in my 2 weeks off, I was like, okay, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to socialize. I don't want to blah, blah blah. But then I was like, okay, this book club thing, it happens once a month. Like, just go. You'll meet new people. It's gonna be fun. It's something that you like. It's a healthy coping mechanism, reading books. And so like a week before it, I haven't read the book yet. I was like, okay, I'll listen to the audiobook. I started listening to the audiobook. I got sidetracked. By the end, I listened to like maybe 20 minutes from the audiobook, and I went, and it was so much fun. I met amazing people. The two books we read were The Body Keeps the Score, which is like a psychology book about trauma and how the body stores trauma. It was so cool. And then the other one is called In the Dream House, I think. It's also kind of about trauma a little bit, I don't know. Anyways, so we went, and it was all girls. It's an all girls book club, and we just talked about like trauma and how like people react to it differently, and it was such an amazing bonding experience. It was so great. I loved it. Anyways, yeah, so what was I talking about? Sorry, my mind is all over the place right now. Back to the mental breakdown thing, right? So yeah, I was like, okay, I need to deal with this. I need to deal with my emotions. And so I had the next few days in which I was like, okay, I'll just feel my emotions. So I just sat by myself and I started thinking about every single problem that's making me feel really bad. And instead of trying to find a solution, because obviously these problems outside of my hand, outside of my control, right? Like things that just happen, and you can't change them. And so I just started thinking about them and feeling sad about them. And I just let myself cry. I was just like, this is so, like, I'm so sad about this, and like, why? I wasn't like, why, or like whatever. I was just like, this is so sad, like this makes me feel really upset, and I just cried about it for like 10 times, give or take. And it was actually really great. It was actually really great, and I felt so much better afterwards. And also I was at a point where like I feel like so many like horrible things have happened in the last year that are like outside of my control, with the war and just like so many more things. And I've just been in a constant state of not depression, but like complaining. I mean, by nature I'm a complainer, I'm a yapper. I'm a pessimist kind of, and so I always look at the bad side of things. And when things are bad, obviously all you can see is horrible things happening, right? And so I just feel like over the last year I've just been complaining nonstop to my friends, and I'm a yapper, right? And so I blah blah blah, I just talk about my problems to all of my friends, and honestly I got tired from myself. Like, shut up for 2 seconds, okay? Stop complaining. God, like I know you might be like, no, like it's fine, complain when you share your burden with your friends. It's like they actually want to listen. It's a coping mechanism, and it's like helpful. Listen, my problem is not with doing it. My problem is with overdoing it. Like, I know I can talk to my friends about my problems, and I know that their perspective and their viewpoint on things can be very helpful and very insightful, and I appreciate it. But I got to a point where I was overly relying on venting about my problems to my friends, to a point where it wasn't actually helping me. It was just making me feel, I guess, kind of tired from myself. Like, it just felt like, ugh, not her again having a bad day, not her again complaining about her problems. And so I felt like, you know what, if this is not like serving me, then why do it? Like, I know it's healthy, but I was overdoing it. And so I was like, okay, I'll take time away. I won't, trauma dump on my friends. And I'll just like sit with these problems with myself and like feel those feelings, and if I needed to, I can journal about them. And especially because these problems specifically weren't like, I guess, um I I wasn't like, they're problems that are outside of my control, right? And so there isn't really any objective advice or like that I can apply, or anything I can do personally to like solve them or whatever. And I know you're gonna be like, oh, but telling your friends about your problems isn't about them solving them, it's just about you getting it off your chest. Well, I can do that by myself. I can just do that in my head, and or in my journal. And I don't know, I just wanted to try something new for a change. And so I isolated myself from all of my friends, and I'm just like, I'll sit in my sadness. And it helped a lot. But then it got to a point where I was like, okay, even the isolation is getting too much, because I was missing talking to my friends, and I missed like talking to my friends and texting them, and stuff like that. And so even the isolation got like, ugh, yeah, okay, I need community, like, And so then I texted my friends, and I was like, hey, this is why I disappeared, like blah blah blah, I'm sorry, blah blah blah. And I was like, I mean, things are okay, I feel so much better now. And yeah, now I'm better. And that's the update. Oh my god, I can't believe my update was like 20 minutes. Like, hello, that's crazy. Yeah, also I baked a lot. So healthy coping mechanisms, I baked a lot, I read books, and it was really fun. I didn't bake a lot. Okay, that was a lie. I baked one cake, and I tried to decorate it, and it guys, I'm just gonna show you the inspo and then the result. Okay, this is the inspo and this is the result. Crazy. Okay, listen, in my defense, I'm a great baker. I would like to say I'm a great decorator, but it was the supplies, right? Like, I didn't have the piping tip for the whipping cream, or like the, what's it called, icing. And I didn't have like good quality like icing. And even the cake itself was like tea cake, not like cake, like not birthday cake. Moving on from the recap, it's just that's what happened in the last, definitely not a month, in the last 2 weeks, because this podcast I upload on it bi-weekly, obviously. Okay, first topic. Okay, positivity and new friendships. Again, as I said in the last podcast episode, that I don't want to be negative anymore. I'm trying to invite positive energy into my life. And so I remember tweeting the other day, like, how do optimistic people stay positive and hopeful and like, yay, happy life. And one girl replied to me, and she was like, honestly, she got to a point with the war and everything that happened. She's like, it can always get worse, which I'm like, this is such an, like, I had that same mentality for a while. of like, you know what, I've been through worse and I know things can always get worse. And so you know what, like it's a good mindset to have, to like appreciate the now, and like, which is true, but I'm like, I know that in my head, but why do I not feel it? And so then she was like, it's kind of like the whole thing of like fake it till you make it, which is true. Maybe I should just be delusional. Like, obviously, when I'm sad, I'll let myself be sad. If I'm angry, I'll let myself be angry. But otherwise, when I'm feeling okay, I can just like fake being happy until I believe that I'm happy, which is, I know, sounds crazy and sounds like a bad advice and kind of toxic and unhealthy, but it worked with faking that think I'm pretty until I actually believe that I'm pretty. It works 100%. Like, it's such solid advice. Like, for the longest time I was like delusional. Like, if you're not delusional, you're just, life is gonna be so sad. And so I'm just gonna be Delulu. Okay, I'm gonna be Delulu whenever I'm like, I'm just gonna be like, actually life is so great. Like, you know what, look at the birds sing, look at the sun shining. Actually, the sun shining isn't a good thing, because like the heat. No, the sun shining is a good thing, because like sunlight and happiness and daytime and mm, tan. I don't know, but that was a dumb example. You know what I'm saying? Like, just try to like act like you enjoy life, or like, I guess, give the things that I like their like like how do I explain it? When I experience something bad, or like, or have a sad thought or whatever, a negative thought, the way I feel about it is like 10 times, or like tenfold, the feeling I feel when something excites me in a positive way or in a happy way, right? And that's very short. Like, if I'm sad about something, I'm sad about it for a really long time. But if I'm happy about something, it's usually very like short. Or like, if I'm excited about something, it's very short. And also the intensity of it is nothing close to the, like, I guess, bad emotions. And that is why I feel like I'm a pessimistic person, I guess. I don't know, maybe just self-analyzing here. So, I don't know. I think I just want to give like the good things in life, like, more of an appreciation. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I want to appreciate like the good things in life more. Like how I love, like, I don't know, shows or media, or like how much I love food, or like how much I love, I don't know, spending time with my friends, or like talking to my friends, or whatever, right? Like, things that I'm like, this is so much fun. Or like how much I love like fashion or clothes, or like movies, and like scenes and cinematography, and art, and like stuff like that. Like, these are things that like are so enjoy, like, they're very enjoyable for me. um and so I feel like I should just give them more credit, I guess, or appreciate them more. I think I take things for granted a lot, like, I guess, good things, or like, I don't know, whatever. I just, yeah, I don't appreciate things enough, and I think I need to appreciate things more in life, and be like, you know what, actually there's a lot of things that are like good. And speaking of, a lot of my last podcast episodes, I was like, ugh, like, which I know, like, displacement sucks, obviously. Obviously I'm gonna complain about it, but there's a lot of good that happened in the last year as well. Like, I made some great friends. One of my new friends that I made, she's actually really cool, and we're very similar but very different in many ways, but she's super awesome. And I was saying, like, oh, I was facing a lot of, like, microaggressions in Egypt and all of that, but she's really cool. I don't know, it's just one of the things that I wanted to appreciate, positive thing that happened in the last year, that I'm like, I'm grateful that happened. Meeting new people that are really cool and nice and super awesome. And yeah, also, I'm in a much better university now than I was before, and I don't know, it's good for my future career, right? And my education is so much better now, and that's something to be grateful for. Yeah, I don't know, there's just a lot of cool things. And also, the fact that I'm much more like I think, yeah, I'm much, even though things are worse now than they were a year before, but I think I'm much more like content, or more like, okay, I know I said I need to work on being grateful and appreciating things more and like life more and stuff like that. But I think I am. Like, I need to do it more, but like from a year ago to now, like how much more I guess I appreciate things has gotten better, I think, and like my perspective on life has improved. And so I wouldn't have wanted to learn it through word displacement, but like at least we're here, you know. Um yeah, okay. So, last thing, this is my favorite part of this podcast, and I decided to leave it to the end because it's like fun and juicy and spicy. Is high school bullying stories, which is so much fun, right? Because who doesn't love bullying? Um, Disclaimer, I wasn't the bully, okay? Even though I was a troubled kid in middle school and I used to beat up kids, but only when they wronged me, and so, you know. But in high school, karma, who would have thought? But honestly, I feel like no, the bullying I experienced in high school was definitely unprompted, and some would say worse than the bullying I did in middle school. Also, we're older. We're literally like what, 15, 16, 17, like, you know, like old enough to know better than when I was like a kid, like 9, 10, whatever. Anyways, okay, where do I even start? Okay, let's just preface this by saying it got bad enough for me to go to the, like, I guess, student affairs office or whatever, and talk to the, like, one of the ladies that's responsible for transferring kids from class to class. And when I told her about everything that I experienced, I started crying, and so she transferred me to a different class because of how bad it was. So that's just the preface, right? This is part of my life that I didn't really realize how bad it was, I guess, until I'm older now and I'm looking back and I'm like, this is kind of disturbing, you know? Okay, so I'm gonna try to summarize as much as possible because we have like 7 minutes left in the podcast time, and I don't know, it's just a lot, so I need to summarize. So context. So in 8th grade, my school had a girls section and a guys section, and the guys section was getting a little bit out of control. Like they had like drug problems and whatever stuff like that. And my brother was in his last year of high school there. And when my parents found out about this, they were like, "Oh, the school is really bad. We can't keep our daughter there." But my brother's literally leaving the next year, and so he finished high school. You know, he went to college, and I was in 8th grade going to 9th grade, right? And I guess in IGs, or like in my school, high school started from 9th grade. And so my parents were like, oh, if the guys section is bad, then the girls section is definitely horrible. Even though they were completely different buildings, the girls section was kind of fine. It, like, you know, I don't think we had a drug problem. Even if we did, I never heard about it, you know. And so anyways, my parents were like, okay, you're moving schools. Like, we don't care. We're moving schools. And I was trying to fight it for as long as possible. I was like, no, I don't want to move. Like, my friends, like, whatever. I didn't want to go. So my mom dragged me in the summer to like different high schools to like interview and like see which one to go to. Okay, so I had two options, right? One of them was really nice. Like the building, like the facilities looked really cool and it kind of looked like an American school. And so I was like, of course, like I want to go there. And they had the lockers and the hallways, and I'm like, I'm gonna be like starring in my own like high school drama, like she's the new kid, you know. And like I was already imagining it. They had a basketball court indoors and they were building a swimming pool. Like I was like, this is it, you know. It was slightly more expensive than the other high school, but I was like, it's worth it. Like, come on, mama. Like, I want to have my moment. And so we interviewed with the principal. My mom was like, okay, I'll think about it. And that's the only reason I was like, okay, open to like moving schools. So my mom was like, okay, well, we're gonna see. And then a couple months later, she's like, okay, we found you this interview at the other school that my mom wanted me to go to. And why did they like that school? Because my dad's friend recommended it to him. Of course, my parents listened to their friends more than they listened to me. You know, even though my reasons weren't that great. And my dad's like friend told him because like the teachers are really great there and like, you know, academic reasons, which he wasn't wrong, but like still, what's more important, my academic, my academics, or my main character moment? Like, hello. And so anyways, I go there, I take the interview, I try to answer every question wrong. Like, I'm not even kidding you, I was trying to fail the entrance exam. I was answering every question wrong on purpose. I was doing dumb spelling mistakes on the English exam. Like, I was trying to fail so hard. And then one day my mom comes in and she's like, I have great news. I was like, what? She's like, you got accepted in the school we wanted. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they rigged those exams and they just wanted students in, and it was just a formality because there is no way I passed. Anyways, I come into the school, I'm put into this classroom, right? Grade 9, they had A, B, and C, 3 classrooms. And so the classroom I was in, okay, so let me explain this concept. So we have this like I guess demographic in Sudan. We call them Agbat, who are like Christian Sudanese people from like Egyptian and like Arab descent, and so they look Arab, but like they're Sudanese and they're also Christian. And so this classroom, for some reason, like 80% of it was like Agbat, and then like maybe 20% of it was like Muslim Sudanese people, right? And so I was in that classroom, and naturally, like, people from the same demographic like grouped together. Like, it was just a thing that happens, right? And they knew each other from, like, they were from similar communities, they went to similar churches, and so they already knew each other, right? And so, right, they grouped together. And then so, joining would be so much more difficult. I was like, okay, fine, like, I'll try to befriend other people. But also, like, I don't know, it was just really difficult, like, befriending people. In addition to all of this, right, the school year starts, and the friend that I was okay, so from my old school, I transferred to the school with one other friend, and the other friend, guess what, she's not in my classroom, she's in 9B, right? And she also knows, like, mutual friends, I guess, from that classroom, and so she joins a friend group immediately because she knew them from an old school she was in. And like, anyways, so she finds a group of friends, right? And she's the only person I know, and so I only see her in, like, I guess, break times and lunch breaks and stuff like that. And so I was struggling, like, making friends and talking to people and socializing, and it was so miserable. And then the bullying starts. Of course, it has to get worse. I had my it moment, but not the way I wanted, not in the way I wanted. Like, I never thought that the bullying in movies was real until I experienced this. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a few instances. One of them was with this one girl. Let's just call her like Ashley, because she was acting like an Ashley. So I was sitting, right, minding my own business. I'm in like the first row, second row, I can't remember. And she was sitting behind me with her cousin, I think, or friend, I can't remember. They were sitting behind me, right? And her cousin is kind of sweet, like, not gonna lie, she's not as horrible as her. But anyways, I was sitting, and she was sitting behind me. And then out of nowhere, she took my chair and started pushing it. Like, she started shaking my chair from behind and laughing, okay? And I don't know what was wrong with me at that time. I think it's because, like, I'm the new kid. I'm not comfortable with my surroundings. I'm not comfortable with these people. And so it was hard for me to, like, set boundaries with people, or, like, snap at people, or, like, I don't know, get mad. I don't know. Whenever all of these things happened, I would just not say anything, but I would just give them a look, And so when she was doing all of this, I just looked at her. I looked back and stared at her and looked away, Obviously meaning stop doing this. In the first place, I don't even have to give her a look. Why are you shaking my chair for no reason and laughing? And then the second time she did it, I looked back at her and she was like, what, you want me to stop? And then I was like, I just didn't say anything. I don't know why. I just was quiet. Like, I don't know, did someone I don't know, it was a spell or something. I didn't say anything. I just was staring at her and really angry and annoyed, but I don't know why I didn't say anything. And then her friend looked at her cousin or her friend. She was like, hey, like, stop. Like, she obviously, and she doesn't find this funny, And she looked at her friend or cousin, and she was like, if she didn't like it, she should say something. And she just laughed, and I looked back, and she kept doing it. And I was like, oh my God. I just got up and left. It was so annoying. It was literally like Regina George type of bullying. Like, it was so sadistic, And I was like, I don't know why I didn't say anything. That was also really annoying. Anyways, that was one of the instances. She was a very, like, I don't know how to say it, very, like, self-centered, like, very She was pretty, I'll give her that. She was pretty, but it was going to her head. Like, nobody's laughing here. Even your friend is like, girl, what are you doing? Anyways, that was one of the instances. The second incident, okay, and this one is actually crazy to this day. By the way, there's so many other stories. I'm just gonna tell you two of them. The other one is, we were on lunch break, right? And I come back into my classroom, and to give you context, I had one of those like smiggle like cases, electronic or like mechanical cases, where you push a button and then compartment opens. It was super cool. My sister had gotten it for me from the UK, because she traveled with my parents, and it was like so cool, because like, no one has a mechanical pencil case except me in the classroom. And so I really liked it. It was purple, it was very cute. And so I walk into the classroom, and I see this guy in my classroom taking my pencil case, opening it, right? And at this point, he saw me coming, so he was making eye contact with me. He opens the pencil case, literally drops all of the contents of the pencil case on the floor, like my pencils, erasers, rulers, whatever it is, all on the floor, while maintaining eye contact and smiling. It was so sadistic. I was like, what is happening? And at that point, I got fed up from all the bullshit. I went up to him and I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you do that? And he was just laughing. And I remember there was this one girl in the classroom. I can't remember if it was the same girl who like bullied me earlier, or like if it was a different girl. When I started screaming at him, like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you do that? He was just laughing. And the girl was like, why are you overreacting? Calm down. Like, please, where are the cameras? Please let them come out. Because, hello? I'm the crazy one. I'm the crazy one in that situation. Like, I was so fed up. And so I went to like the student affairs office. I was like, hey, I want to change schools. Well, I want to switch classrooms. I want to go to the classroom where my friend is, right? So I can be around people who are actually normal and not insane. And so I went to her. She sat me down. She was like, okay, what's happening? She took me to a secluded area, alhamdulillah, so that I can like akhud rahti. And I didn't know these things were bothering me as much until I started telling her everything. And out of nowhere, I started crying, because obviously they were, I guess, building up, and I hadn't really told anyone about them. And so when I was telling her, I started sobbing, and she was like, girl, calm down. Like, it's not that no, she didn't say it's not this. She was like, I'm really sorry you're going through this. Of course, we're gonna switch you, no problem. Like, don't worry about it. And so yeah, I got switched, and I joined my friend's friend group, and everything was so much better until 10th grade, which we're gonna talk about that another day. My high school was like very focused on like the sciences more than the arts, and so they only gave the students two options: either you go into the biology class or the additional math class. The biology students are gonna become doctors, and the additional math students are gonna become engineers, and those were all the options you get, one or the other. You're either an engineer or a doctor, the good old Sudani way. And so I was in the additional math classroom, and so surprise, surprise, like it was 90% guys. Like, we were 12 girls total. And so just the things I experienced in 10th and 11th grade from the guys in my high school, and honestly some of the girls too, crazy. Okay, crazy experiences. You know but you know what, also I feel like so comfortable talking about high school and everything that happened in it, because it was such a long time ago, which is why I avoid speaking about my college experiences yet, because it's like, I feel like too soon. But maybe one day. Anyways, so yeah, that's the story of my high school. And I remember even my parents kept asking me like, why did you want to switch, classrooms? And I was like, nothing, I just like want to be with my friends, which was partially true. I just never told them about the bullying. And yeah, and so yeah, things were peaceful for a year kind of, and then 10th grade bullying continued, 11th grade bullying continued, and now things are great and better. And so yeah, those were my high school bullying experiences, stories, whatever. I don't know, people are weird. I just hope, oh my god, there was so many more. Oh, I have the best bullying story. This one did not happen to me. Okay, it's a story of a girl who put a guy who was really kind of an asshole to all the girls and honestly everyone. He was just the most horrible, okay, not the most horrible person ever, but he was up there, and it was a story where this girl humbled him, and it was the most insane like revenge story. Like, ugh, it was so good. But I'll speak about that in my next episode, and so you better follow me or subscribe, or wherever platform you're watching this on. You better wait for next episode where I'm gonna go in depth about that revenge story, and I'm gonna talk about the bullying that continued in 10th grade and 11th grade. And yeah, that was it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. So I had so much fun today. It started off kind of shaky, but the bullying stories kind of like tied it in. I can laugh about it now. It's been such a really long time, and I don't know. If you're in high school, please just do better. Treat people with kindness. You're gonna grow up and you're gonna look back at yourself from high school and you're gonna cringe and you're gonna hate yourself. And so just don't make your future self hate you. And also, these things sometimes, maybe I wasn't too traumatized by them and I moved on and like whatever, but some people, these things like scar them for life. And so, do you want to scar someone for life? I thought not. So treat people with kindness, be empathetic. Try not to be an asshole. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening to this podcast, watching it, whatever platform you're on, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.